Hello there. Today on Reawakening, I just want to talk about how education is meaningless without the gospel. Now, if anybody's upset with this, just hear me out for a few minutes. And I have a degree in mathematics, but honestly, math has changed through the years, and you can tell. I took a class on history of math, and how pi used to be 3, not 3.14, 529, whatever comes after that. I don't even remember, honestly, because it's been so long ago since you studied it. But everything changes. Methods change, technology changes, and, it's different. What you believe now will be replaced. And Solomon, he talked about how, everything basically is meaningless. So, I'm going to go through a lot of Ecclesiastes on this. So Ecclesiastes 1, words were the words of the preacher, the son of David, king of Jerusalem. Now he's talking about Solomon, not any other king, any other son of David. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher. Vanity of vanities, it's all is vanity. What profit has a man from all his labor? In which he toils under the sun, one generation passes away, and another generation comes, but the earth abides forever. The sun also rises, and the sun goes down, and hastens to the place where it arose. The wind goes towards the south, and turns around to the north, and the wind whirls about continually, and comes again on its circuit. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. To the place where from which rivers come, they will return again. All things are full of labor. Man cannot express it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. That which has been is what will be. That which is done is what will be done, and there is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything of which it may be said, see, is this new? It has already been in ancient times before us. There will be no remembrance of former things, nor will there be any remembrance of things that are to come by those who will come after. I, the preacher, was king over Israel and Jerusalem, and I set my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all that is done under heaven. This burdensome task God has given to the sons of man, by which they may be exercised. I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and indeed all is vanity and grasping for the wind. What is crooked cannot be made straight. What is lacking cannot be numbered. I communed with my heart, saying, look, I have attained greatness, and have gained more wisdom than all who were before me in Jerusalem. My heart has understood great wisdom and knowledge, and I set my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. I perceived that this is also grasping for the wind. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he who increases knowledge increases sorrow. So, just a little bit of lessons here, Holy Spirit, just give us wisdom in this. Give us wisdom here. Vanity means worthless. It says Vanity Fair? That means it's worthless fair. Why would people buy magazines that's just saying it's worthless? You're so vain. See this right here? This beautiful face? Poor ladies, it's going to decay one day. Carrie, I love you. I love you, Carrie. But I'm just saying, though, everything decays. Everything's decaying. There's nothing new in there. So, for more wisdom, the more education you get, the more you realize your own mortality. In 100 years, you'll be absolutely forgotten. There's nothing new underneath the sun. Everything's been done before. The feminism generation's already been done in Israel, where basically you had a bunch of bossy women that are running over the household. you know, and once you get old, you get replaced by the next generation. So I'm going to go through the next chapter now. I said in my heart, come now, I will test you with mirth. Therefore enjoy pleasure. But surely this also was vanity. I said of laughter, madness, and mirth, what is it accomplished? I searched my heart, how to gratify my flesh with wine, while guarding my heart with wisdom, how to lay hold on folly, till I might see what it was good for the sons of men to do under heaven all the days of their lives. I made my works great. I built myself houses, and I planted myself vineyards. I made myself gardens and orchards, and I planted all kinds of fruit trees in them. I made myself water pools from which to water the growing trees of the grove. I acquired male and female servants, and had servants born in my house. Yes, I had greater possessions of herds and flocks than all who were in Jerusalem before me. I also gathered for myself silver and gold and the special treasures of kings in the provinces. I acquired male and female singers, the delights of the sons of men, and musical instruments of all kinds. So I became great and excelled more than all who were before me in Jerusalem. Also my wisdom remained with me. Whatever my eyes desired, I did not keep from them. I did not withhold my heart from any pleasure, for my heart rejoiced in all my labor, and this was all my reward from all my labor. Then I looked at on all the works that my hands had done, on the labor in which I had toiled, and indeed all was vanity and grasping for the wind. There was no profit underneath the sun. Then I turned myself to consider the wisdom and madness and folly. For what can the man do who succeeds the king? Only what he has already done. Then I saw wisdom exceeds folly, as light excels darkness. The wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walks in darkness. Yet I myself perceived that the same event happens to them all. So I said in my heart, as it happens to the fool, it also happens to me. And why was I then more wise? Then I said to my heart, this is also vanity, for there is no more remembrance of the wise than of the fool forever, since all that now will be forgotten in the days to come. And how does a wise man die as the fool? Therefore I hated life, because all the work that was done underneath the sun was distressing to me, for all is vanity and grasping for the wind. Then I hated all my labor which I had toiled under the sun. I must leave it to the man who will come after me, and who knows whether he will be wise or a fool. Yet he will rule all over my labor in which I toiled, and in which I have shown myself wise under the sun. This is also vanity. Therefore I turned my heart and despaired of all the labor in which I had toiled under the sun. For there is a man whose labor is with wisdom, knowledge, and skill, yet he must leave his heritage to a man who has not labored for it. This is also vanity and a great evil. For what has man for all his labor, and for the striving of his heart, with which he has toiled under the sun? For his days are sorrowful, and his work is burdensome. Even in the night his heart takes no rest. This is also vanity. Nothing's better for a man than he should eat, drink, and that his soul should enjoy good in his labor. This also I saw was from the hand of God. For who can eat, or who can have enjoyment more than I? For God gives wisdom and knowledge and joy to a man who is good in his sight, but to the sinner he gives the work of the gathering and the collecting, that he may give to him who is good before God. This is also vanity and grasping for the wind. Solomon built homes, planted himself vineyards, made himself gardens, and planted all kinds of fruit trees he made. This is a long list, okay? These are the things that Solomon did. Made water pools from which to water the growing trees of the grove. He acquired male and female servants. He had servants born in his house. He had greater positions of herds, flocks, than all who were in Jerusalem before him. So he's richer than everybody in the past. Think Donald Trump times 1,000. That's Solomon. I mean, he gathered the silver, the gold, and the special treasures of the kings. He acquired singers. He had the delights of the sons of men and the musical instruments of all kinds. He was just great, and he's excelled everybody beforehand. But he hated his life because, honestly, what's the difference? So, if my house is 10 times bigger than somebody else that's same, with 10 times bigger, what's the difference? Without my soul, what good is it? The thing is, though, and what are the education systems doing? They're just building your kids to toil meaninglessly without this, without the Bible. It's just, you're sitting there to toil. LeBron James, he toils meaninglessly. Who cares? He makes $100 million a year. Yippee skippy. Nobody cares. It'll be forgotten in 100 years. He'll be forgotten about. So, here he's called the preacher, basically. That's what Solomon is, as he's writing this. He's in his old age at this point. After 1,000 women. Wow. I just can't imagine what he went through there. So, Ecclesiastes 12, remember now your Creator in the days of your youth, before the difficult days have come, and the years draw near when you say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun and the light, the moon and the stars are not darkened, and the clouds do not return at their rain, in the day when the keepers of your house tremble, and the strong men bow down, when the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look through the windows grow dim, when the windows are shut in the streets, and the sound of the grinding is low, and when one rises up at the sound of the bird, and all the daughters of the music are brought low, and they are afraid of height, and of terrors in the way, when the almond tree blossoms, the grasshopper is a burden, and desire fails, for man goes to his eternal home, and the mourners go about the streets. Remember your Creator before the silver cord is loosed, or the golden bowl is broken, or the pitcher is shattered at the fountain, or the wheel is broken at the well. Then the dust will return to the earth as it was, and the spirit will return to God who gave it. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher. All is vanity. And moreover, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people knowledge. Yes, he pondered and sought out and set in order many proverbs. The preacher sought also to find acceptable words, and what was written was upright, words of truth, and the words of the wise were like goads, and the words of the scholars like well-driven nails given by one shepherd. And further, my son, be admonished by these, of making of many books there is no end, and much study is worm to the flesh. So let us hear the conclusion of this whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is man's all. For God will bring every work into judgment, including every secret thing, whether good or evil. Everything is going to end. It's time to go follow the Lord and his commandments, and everything is just worthless toil. So knowledge fades away. So conclusion, knowledge fades away, prophecies fade away, and tongues will cease, but love will never fade away. And in 1 Corinthians 13, now I'm going to go jump there. So everything bounces together. Old and New Testament the New Testament hinges on the Old Testament. Like it supports it. So in 1 Corinthians 13, though I speak with the tongues of men and angels, but have not love, I have become a sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. And though I have all the gift of prophecy and the understanding of the mysteries and the knowledge, and though I have faith, so that I could remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, but have not love, it profits me nothing. Love suffers long, and is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself, is not puffed up, and does not behave rudely, does not seek its own, is not provoked, thinks no evil, and does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will fail. Where there are tongues, they will cease. Where there is knowledge, it will vanish away. For no in part will prophesy in part, but when that is which is perfect has come, then that which is in part will be done away. When I was a child, I spoke as a child, and I understood as a child. I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know just as I also am known. And now abide in faith, hope, love, and these three, but the greatest of these is love. Without the Bible and education, I know I'm a little bit long-winded, a lot of scripture here. Ecclesiastes 1 and 2, and the last chapter. But here's the thing. Without the Bible and education, there's no faith, hope, love being taught. So, all your public school systems, dust. Guys, I love you. Have a wonderful day.